picture image here, just showing this is like a family tree of insects with the root in the middle. So you can see, don't worry, it's a lot because there are a lot of insects. They're very diversified and they're like so many different species. And this is just a collage showing some pretty ones. Insects are important because they're a sole food source for many animals. Food chains would collapse without them. They pollinate plants, that's big for the environment, sexy. They break down dead plants and animals and recycle nutrients back into the earth, gross. And on top of all that, they add beauty to nature, and that's what we need in this world, folks, beauty. So yeah, the show, once again, the show is all about insects, and we got some great stuff lined up. Some research talks from some amateur scientists, Neil Barton and Cecily Chapman. Let's give it up. And spoofs, no spoofs, just scoofs from a great cast of comedians and some very special actual scientist guests who are in the audience right now. Jacob Russell and Stephanie Kroll. So I was going to warn you guys. Here in my lab, this is my lab, I've been having a bit of a pest problem. Termites. These guys are great. They're my friends. But termites coming in, partying, ruining my jam. So I hired an exterminator. His name is Polly Squishums. Probably not his real name. He should be here any minute. So just letting you guys know, there's like that this is going to be happening.
Yeah, they're definitely coming from the basement.
Okay, thanks. Oh, this is Polly, everyone.
These are your roommates or something?
Yeah.
You got lots of termites down there for sure.
Okay.
Something more disturbing though. Termites you can get rid of easily. Notice a lot of remnants of tea parties down there. You're not hanging out with bugs or anything, are you?
Nope.
Just want to tell you, there's one thing you learn from being an exterminator. You don't become friends with bugs.
Well, I've actually, when I said no earlier, I was lying. I actually have friends. But you know, everyone needs friends, and maybe they're of different species. It's all cool, man.
I was once like you. Making friends with every bug on the block. They break your heart. They just want to show you how much better they are than you. They go off to do great things, and you just stay in your hometown.
That's not my experience so far. Sounds like you've had a rough past, Polly.
This is all standard exterminator stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me show you some standard bugs.
Okay.
See the slides, please. Look at that one.
Very cute.
Ladius bugus.
I would definitely be friends with this bug. Seems like a lot of fun. Look at those shoes.
Yeah. Shoes look very fun. Let me tell you one thing. There's a basketball shoes. She just got a full ride to Duke. She's gonna leave you in this town. She's gonna be in the NBA in 4 years.
Think of that.
Next slide, please. E. grasshopperus.
That's a beautiful bug. I want that bug to serenade me and be my friend.
You know, it's a swan song. That friendship's over like this. He's going to Juilliard. Look at those fingers.
You're right.
I'm gonna show you one more bug.
It's too much. It's too much to handle.
You need to see this.
I don't think I can take it.
You need to see this so you don't make the same mistakes I did.
Okay. Okay.
Third slide, please.
That's such a cute bug. We're gonna read stuff together. We're gonna read The Hobbit. That's The Hobbit, right?
It's not The Hobbit. That's Gravity's Rainbow. And it's not his first time. Do you want to know where he's going to school?
Not really, but tell me.
new school they made just for him. It's called Super Princeton.
Well, this has been really eye-opening, Polly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the world has to work this way.
Sorry, too. Oh, they seem like good friends now. You just keep an eye on them.
Okay. Sounds good. Anyway, how much do I owe you for the...
Well, you see tonight, so that's really easy.
Oh, we'll figure it out later.
I'll send you an invoice.
Cool.
But I'll tell you one thing I can't get rid of.
So cute, though. Yeah, Polly's got some issues. I guess I do too now. He's not the only one with a negative feeling towards insects. We all sort of, well, not all of us, but some of us have extreme fear of insects, and that's called entomophobia in psychology. And even the rest of us who don't have that probably think they're kind of creepy, right? Come on. If you think they're clap if you think bugs are creepy. Yeah. So why? Why do we think, why do we think they're creepy? One, some actually are harmful. They can sting us. They can make us itchy. They can give us bad diseases. But then what about the harmless ones? Why? So psychologists have come up with a few theories about it, but one of them is that there's this idea of insects invading our spaces, that we've made our human home spaces, and part of our disgust comes from the idea of something invading our lives. So I got a little video about a real-time bug invaded my space, and it really invaded, like you don't even realize yet. So enjoy, you got it. Guys, it's time for our first amateur research. I should stop saying that. Research talk. Our first presenter, guest scientist, is Cecily Chapman. She has a show here at Good Comedy Theater called I Have White Friends. I've been on it. I do have white friends. You're just going to see some of them tonight. Yeah, it's a great show. Check it out. And otherwise, she does stand-up comedy around Philadelphia. Very talented. So give it up for Cecily Chapman.
Me yet, but that's what I like to call myself. I have a special presentation for you guys. I studied very long, very hard, 30 minutes for this presentation. I am comparing bugging out versus bugging out. So bugs and humans. Can we go to the next slide? So bugging out. It's what bugs do. permission, so if you want to use it, make sure you cite me. I will find you. So next slide. Bugging out. According to the Urban Dictionary, to perform an action or display a behavior that contradicts normal persona, to unintentionally act like you're under the influence of a hallucinogenic drug while sober, conduct unbecoming of a person or of sound mind and body, or brief mental impairment, as I feel now. And here's just an example they gave us. Yo, did you hear somebody knocking at the door? Nah, son, you bugging out. So that's what bugging out means. So I have some examples. My first example is bugs bugging out. Can we go to the next slide? So, that's just bugs doing bug things. That's how they live their lives. So you saw the ants and the cockroach dying, and the fly. They were just doing what they do. Some were building their nest, and some were dying. But that's how they live their lives. And so now I have an example of humans bugging out. If we can go to that presentation, please.
I can't change the price. You're not. The $5 is on your side. That's the price of the cookies. You want your money back? Yes. Save it or do. Then I will give you your money. That's all I can do. Well, you better change your side because you're lying to your customer.
Only one.
Here we go, motherfucker! No, this is real situation at hand! I am done! I want
That's humans bugging out. Can we go to the next slide? So in conclusion, in my study, I have found that bugs are most likely calling their colony members who can't keep it together, humaning out, and trying to find a cure for them. What the heck? humans. Like, what's going on? Are we all bugging out? Like, seriously. So lastly, I feel like maybe we should strive to be more bug-like and not, yeah. Bugging out is not cool, guys. You know, just stick with the building your colony and all those things, but try not to get on the Starbucks table. Yeah. So I have my resources, the YouTubes, and my brains. Thank you guys.
Can't stop. You're probably wondering, what's with this get up? Yeah, I was just shooting some hoops in between parts of the show. I like to get my exercise in. I'm pretty talented at basketball. Just gonna show you. But hey, I'm not the only one with basketball skills. Our beloved Bumblebee friends also kind of play basketball. What? Bumblebees playing basketball? But they have tiny brains. How can they learn such a complex behavior as moving a ball to a particular location? Well, guess what? You're wrong, and that's mean. So in a study, I'm going to talk about a study that came out in Science a couple months ago. Research at Queen Mary University in London found that bumblebees can learn to move a ball to a particular location. Scientists have found that bees can learn simple tasks before. This has been done quite a bit. But those were usually tasks that are typical for bumblebee behavior. But this is something totally different. So not only did they find that bees can learn a new behavior unrelated to typical bee lifestyle, but they found that bees can actually improve upon the behavior, which I'll get to in a minute. But I have a very cute video for you about this. So this is a video that if it'll come up, this is from this lab that made it. So this is just what I just said. So here is when they train the bee, they show the bee where the ball should go. Saying this is what's going on. And in training, the bee will get a sugar water reward once the ball goes into the right location. So then you'll see after training. Whoa! That's so cute! Get the sugar water reward. Another way that they taught them to do this was they put them in with bees that already knew how to do it and had them watch. So this is the training bee. And the improvement comes in whenever the bee that just got trained does it. It actually chooses the ball that's closest to the center. Whereas the bee that learned it from moved the ball furthest from the center. So it figured out that the more efficient thing to do is choose the ball that's closer to the center to get the sugar reward. That's like so complex, right? And so that's really great. They chose a more efficient option. So this demonstrates so much sophistication and learning capacity when there's some sort of environmental incentive. It opens the door to understanding the thinking capacity in many different types of organisms, not just bumblebees. And yeah, I mean, I'm astounded. If bees can learn that so well, I mean, who knows what else they could do? A single bee or a group of bees? I mean, the bee could be doing my job. Yeah, pretty amazing stuff there. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Are you the one who emailed me about being a guest?
Yes.
On the show? Oh, guys, I got this anonymous email from this fellow here. You're a professor, right?
We are Professor Bertrand Us, a human scientist.
We is an interesting word to choose. but I suppose it's just the formal that works.
The royal we. The royal we.
That makes sense. Bertrand. All right. Well, I mean, the interview part is at the end of the show, but I guess we'll just talk a little bit. Do you have any accomplishments that you'd like to talk about?
Yes. I did a lot of work on the movable to get sugar water theory.
The thing we just saw. Yeah. You were one of the scientists in London.
No, I discovered that if you move the ball, you can get sugar water.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I kind of understand that. So you're a human.
Yes, we are human.
Okay.
Do you use a floral shampoo?
I guess I did. I usually use coconut, but yeah. I can tell you which one it is if you're interested.
Hey, which of you said you thought bugs were gross?
Sorry.
Yeah, I see you. Just don't forget where you get your honey.
Yeah, they're important.
Bees!
Yeah. Professor Oz.
There's a slight draft in here.
You seem okay. Well, that's a very good accomplishment. I'm amazed. I love that study. That's
We loved it too.
Well, thanks for. I guess I'm sorry I didn't coordinate more, but I'm glad you showed up anyways. All right.
I'm just remembering where this is so I can find my way back later. Okay.
Cool. That's great.
Well, I think there's some nectar backstage, so.
Yeah. Water. Sugar water.
Sugar water.
Yeah. I mean juice. We call it juice as humans. No, that's not. That's just my basketball. I don't think you have to do anything with it.
We're hungry.
Something strange about that fellow there. All right, it's time to move on to our next scientist. This is not an amateur scientist. We're talking about a real deal scientist here. Our next guest presenter is Neil Barden. He actually has a PhD in brain and cognitive sciences, and he is a comedian too. So that's what I do. Trying to steal my thing. No, just kidding. He's great. He's also a member of the N Crowd, which is a comedy group that performs in the city. And he's a member of a family-friendly improv show that happens every Saturday at 5 p.m. at the Philly Improv Theater. Check it out. It's called Finders Keepers. Everyone give a big hand for Neil Barden.
Hi there. I'd like to share a little bit of research with you all today. There was a slight mishap in my email earlier today, which happens to everybody, I imagine. My understanding was that this whole show would be about a particular kind of bug. It's the bug that on wikipedia.org is known as a covert listening device. Bit of a problem, it turns out, in my email situation. Some of you may be familiar with these bugs from such documentaries as Get Smart, the James Bond series of docos, and also The Lives of Others, which was about German bugs. Very truthful. I had a research question about all these bugs, and it was, have these bugs started to look more like spiders since the dawn of the World Wide Web? As we all know, the World Wide Web was invented at CERN, a great space for physics research, in 1989 in Switzerland, and since then, that web thing's really taken off, huh? Around the time that the web was invented, most covert listening devices were more or less, they looked like quarters with little microphones on it. 1989, some of you may remember, is coincidentally around the time communism started to fall. So that's an interesting coincidence. Then just hold on to that for a minute, or start remembering what Newsweek magazine was like back then. That's up to you. My hypothesis was that indeed there have been environmental pressures, epidemiological propagation through social networks, such that these covert listening device bugs have indeed started to experience kind of a Darwinian survival of the fittest, so that they look more like natural spiders as opposed to artificial quarters with microphones. That's so good. My data, you might notice that I do not have any slides. Bugs are really small. The whole point is that you can't see them, that you can't detect them. So all my pictures of them just make them look really fucking tiny. Anyway, so my fingers are small, that's no good. Trust me though, they look more like spiders than they used to 30 years ago. This also correlates very well, R1, for those of you into that business, with an increase in cellular data traffic that doubles it every year. So just, you can look at the charts that I'll provide in my supplementary material at the alley in Chinatown later tonight. Ask very nicely and I'll give you a thumb drive that definitely has nothing. In conclusion, yeah, sure. Covert listening devices do look more like spiders than they did in, say, 1988. You know what? It's kind of moot because the Russian government's reading all of our emails anyways. Oh. Great. I gotta go deal with that. Thank you all.
I just felt like getting a little wrapped up. Sometimes you just want to be cozy. Butterflies. Let's talk about butterflies. They're pretty, right? Copy butterflies are pretty. So all that coloration and patterning actually serves purposes. The color patterns on butterflies can protect them from predation in two ways. One, camouflage, so blending in with the environment, and two, a warning. Toxic butterflies look a certain way, and looking that way can mean danger, gross thing, don't eat it, to a predator. So there's an evolutionary advantage to having wings that camouflage or warn, because there's a survival advantage. Remember, survival of the fittest. Because for that, those butterflies are more fit, the ones that can survive more. So other less fit butterflies have a way to become more fit, and that is called mimicry, or looking like those butterflies that are more successful, and to improve fitness and survive more. But let's say if there's like a really pretty color butterfly that's toxic to predators, evolving the ability to make the pigment that matches that pigment is kind of hard. So these less fit butterflies have nature, generally speaking nature, found a different way to achieve the same goal, which is called structural coloration. So this is a representation of that. This is pigment and structure. I'm gonna get into it. So structural coloration is color that is not produced by a pigment, but by microscopic structures in the wings of the butterfly that reflect light in a certain way and produce a particular color. So it's much easier to evolve changes in the biological machinery that make these structures than to evolve pigment. So some researchers found that butterflies can evolve structural coloration in as little as 6 generations. So that's going from like a brown pigmented butterfly to a purple structural butterfly in about a year. So that's like evolution in a year. That's crazy and cool. Like the biggest change I've made in the past year is renewing my driver's license. So I have an image here that will probably help more than this. So on the left here, this is a emerald swallowtail butterfly, and this color you see here, it's not from green pigment. It's from these little cup-like structures on the surface of the wing that reflect light in such a way that it makes a green color. And this is a pigmented green butterfly. It makes a green pigment, just for comparison. This one looks like garbage. This is another example, Morpho butterfly, which you've probably seen. It has this really beautiful iridescent blue that is made from these Christmas trees. If you zoom in on the wing and look at it like this, it has these like Christmas tree structures that reflect light to make this blue color. This is another zoom in. So I think this is really interesting. Structural coloration is present in many other birds and insects. And I think it's interesting because evolution always feels like it's such a grand concept. We talk about it on the scale of like thousands of years. But this is a beautiful example of evolution working quickly to produce a strong change that has a big effect on the survival advantage. The big idea here is like nature can achieve similar goals in different ways, and sometimes easier ways. So it's kind of like, yeah, that it's just finding a different way to do the same thing. So yeah, this is all really great. I kind of feel like getting, you guys cold? Just yes? I'm just gonna get a little more wrapped up and think about these butterflies a little more. So, see you guys.
Alright, Father. Bonzo Toys just isn't what it used to be. Everyone says we're too old-fashioned to keep up with all these new fangled trinkets. You said you could save our company. Now let's hear it.
I'm not just gonna save the company, I'm gonna take you to the top. They're gonna be saying Hasbro, Schmazbro. Or more like, old news, bro.
I've been trying to make the old news, bro, for the past 50 years. How will you cut to the chase? How are you going to do it?
Oh, you tell me. What's the hottest toy on the market right now?
Smash Bros. Baby cries aplenty. It's the baby doll that generates real tears. It's so hard to find. Some people say it never even existed.
What if I told you that Bonzo Toys could make its own weeping child equivalent? Twice as fast and for half the price.
I call you a liar! This is a family-owned company and we don't appreciate lying liars! Take your liar hands and open the door and leave.
Don't worry, I'm not a liar.
We would have to funnel millions of dollars into developing state-of-the-art sad baby technology. That sad baby money this company simply doesn't have.
Here's the best part of my plan. You won't need any sad baby tech.
Explain.
Think about it. Kids like baby cries aplenty because of the sad baby experience. Tears are just one way of creating that experience. There's always multiple ways to achieve a goal.
Go on.
Your company can give its consumers the same experience with just one simple item.
Come on, spit it out!
A note!
Wait!
Let me present it to you. Let me present you Bonzo Toys' next smash hit. The Baby's So Sad! The Baby's So Sad comes packaged with a helpful note telling you how sad the baby is. None of this fancy schmancy crying technology.
Well, I'll be. I can tell exactly how sad that baby is without even seeing it really cry.
And think, it's not even a sad baby doll. It's a normal baby doll that we put a note on. Boom! Baby so sad!
Wait, this is lying. I'm not afraid to call the police on myself for lying. I've done it before.
Let's just call it a bit of creative reinterpretation.
If it saves the company, then I suppose I can get creative. This will revolutionize the industry. In just a few short years, Bonzo Toys will be the next Apple.
Why wait years? Why wait years? I've actually taken the liberty and went ahead and renovated your headquarters to get ahead of the curve.
Our stock has already gone through the roof. The NASDAQ has announced that we've won the stock exchange. They're closing down and they're giving all of us the money. You've saved my hide. I'm paying you double.
No, I don't do it for the money. I do it so that when I go home to my loving wife and our children, I know that I've made the world a better place for them.
Well, at least let me take you out to lunch. I know a great place around the corner. Oh, wait, I have a meeting. I guess I should leave them a note.
I feel different. I feel changed. At first I was cold, then I started to get a lot of energy, then I just wrapped myself up like this. And now I feel like coming out. Whoa! It's a really good timing that this show happened. The show about insects happened during my metamorphosis. We all have a metamorphosis, right? Oh, what's this though? Congratulations, you have metamorphosized. That can't be the right word. You are now an adjunct professor. All right. Well, I'll take what I can get. This lab coat's pretty cool. Guys, it's time for to cut the shit and bring up our guests for the evening. I'm gonna set up their chairs real quick. Just get a slow clap going. Is a project science director with the Academy of Natural Sciences on the Delaware River Watershed Initiative, and is assistant research professor in the Department of Biodiversity, Earth, Environmental Science at Drexel University. Bees for you Drexel heads out there. Her research is focused on the study and conservation of aquatic ecosystems, and she's going to tell us a little bit about that. Please welcome to the stage Dr. Stephanie Kroll. Hi. said.
Thought it would be appropriate today.
Yeah.
And no one would be grossed out by it.
Yeah, they're used to it. They saw a bunch of bugs in the intro video. That was going to be more graphic, by the way. But, no, thank you for coming. Our second guest for tonight is an associate professor in the Department of Biology at Drexel, also at Drexel. His lab studies special kinds of relationships. What does that mean? Between bacteria and ants and aphids, and how these interactions have shaped evolution of insects. Please welcome Dr. Jacob Russell. Right. No bug shirt there, so points for Stephanie. There are points I forgot to tell you. No, just kidding. Yeah, we got both our guests here. We're good. Let's just. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot. Professor Oz. We met him earlier. He's also going to join us on this panel. Please have a seat, sir.
I didn't bring my EpiPen tonight.
Please.
We're more afraid of you than you are of us.
Okay. Let's just hope for the best. So we're just going to start with get into the nitty gritty. Stephanie, could you please describe your work? I gave a little one sentence thing, but describe your work.
Yeah, I oversee a monitoring program. So there are a bunch of nonprofit groups that are working with farmers and with landowners to get them to do better practices on their land to improve water quality in nearby streams. So my group is going and seeing how the streams look, and hopefully they will improve.
Awesome.
So we sample fish and macroinvertebrates and diatoms.
Okay, great.
So some of those things are insects.
Yeah. My next question was gonna be, how do insects play a role do they play any role in your assessment of the water quality at all, or is that?
Yeah, we call them bioindicators.
Okay.
The original bioindicator is the canary in the coal mine. You know, where you wanted to know if the air quality was okay. So these insects, some of them are very pollution tolerant, some are pollution sensitive, so you can tell how good the water quality is with them.
Oh, interesting. Get into a little more into that soon. Moving on, Jacob, if you could please describe your work for our lovely audience.
Yeah, we study germs that live inside of bugs.
Ew.
So like little bugs, like killer bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically lots of different important insects that kind of eat our crops and that are trying to sap all the nutrients out of our food. We study the germs that protect them against the stuff that we throw at those bugs, like wasps.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah, not bees, but wasps.
Great.
And yeah, it's a relation.
Yeah, that's very cool. Professor Oz, quiet down over there. Thanks. First of all, what do you do?
We drink nectar.
Cool. Very interesting. So, Stephanie, I just wanted to ask, conservation is a big part of what you do, if that's correct, if I'm understanding correctly. What can we do as individuals to contribute to the health of aquatic ecosystems? Is there anything you can think of?
Oh, it's a good question. I guess actually not fertilizing your lawn, not pooping directly into rivers. In a good way. And picking up your dog's poop actually helps rivers. That's part of why you have to walk around with a bag of poop.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is a good lesson for everyone. Just gonna write that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Jacob, I wanted to ask how do your studies affect? Is there any extension between the relationship between ants and their germs to our relationship with our germs? Because we have germs, guys. If that's a newsflash, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there are some to some extent. I think the ants and then the other bugs we study, the aphids, have very simple communities of germs that are a little bit easier to study. And so on some level we can learn things that are helpful for us.
Right.
But in the end, I think there's really one side of the work that's pretty esoteric, which is trying to understand how germs have helped ants live in rainforest canopies. And ants just totally kick ass up there. Like they totally dominate those ecosystems. Cousin Andy there. And then the other side is the more practical side. These things that protect bugs from the things that we're trying to use to kill them.
Right.
Trying to understand how that works.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting to think of all of the different, like just that there is a symbiotic relationship happening in us too. It's something that I feel like I forget. We should thank the bugs in us every morning, right?
I know I do.
Very cool. This is a part of the interview where we get personal. Have you ever just looked at a bug and thought, that's gross?
No.
I did ask that earlier, but
No.
like, what?
No.
Oh, so you love bugs all the time?
Yes.
What about parasitic mites? You like that?
Oh no.
What have you heard?
Alright. Okay. Relax.
Just checking on the queen.
Okay. Yeah, let us know how that is. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I am totally grossed out by cockroaches.
Oh, really?
I like scream. I have a low voice, you can tell. I scream. I run away. I like throw things at them and call a friend.
Oh, yeah.
hmm
I do the same.
Yeah, but I would look at them under the scope but sometimes they're like maggots, you know, the ones from true flies, they're wormy looking. There are times when I'm looking at them and I get like a chill.
Oh, yeah. How about you, Jake?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, spiders, obviously. But one of my memories as a child is like my mother gardening, and no idea how in the world this would have happened, but it felt like she dug up this extremely large moth. It was not kidding you. It was like this.
Yeah.
And I was like 4 or 5, and I remember my mom freaking out and just bashing the thing.
Is it Mothra?
It was, that is her nickname, and I think she may have gotten it from that. So yeah, and it was a moth, right?
Yeah.
Really harmless. So
Right.
I get it.
Yeah. I can't imagine just because you study them, you love them all the time. That makes sense. What originally, one of you can answer, the other can answer. What originally got you into science? Was it like a childhood thing? Was it later on in life? What inspired you?
Gosh, I don't know. I always wanted to be Alan Thicke on Growing Pains growing up. Psychologist, kind of a cool gig. But I think DNA, and just learning about that in high school biology, which was, I think it might as well have been taught by Ben Stiller. It was a very, very dry class. And, but the teacher got to DNA and genetics, and that was kind of mind-blowing to actually, I think I felt in some ways like, Watson and Crick when they stole Franklin's data. Said, holy, by Jesus, this is it, right?
Right. Yeah, that was discussed on this show. If any of you were here, the Genome Show. If not, go back in time. I totally understand that. That was similar for me too, because I am interested in genetics as well. How about you?
I guess I was just outdoors a lot as a kid, and so I also did ballet, so sometimes I would see my fellow ballet dancers like screaming and stabbing at something in the corner, and I'd go over and be like, "It's just a spider, guys," and then I would pick it up and they'd all go like, "Ah!" And so then I'd like take it outside and set it free. So I think I wanted to be a medical doctor at first, and then I was like, I don't like all humans.
Right. Yeah, right, makes sense. If only there's just a bug doctor.
Yeah, that's friends call me Dr. Bugs sometimes.
Dr. Bug, that's great. Professor Uz, how about you?
We got into science pretty recently. We were in the meadow when the net descended. It was a momentous day, for when we awoke, we were introduced to the ball. The ball gives sugar water.
Yes, we've gone over this. We've talked about this quite a bit at length, but thank you for your input, Professor Uz. Who is a swarm of bees in a trench coat? Let's just say it.
We are human scientists. This is an outrage.
We'll deal with that later. This is the last question, final question of the night. If you could be any bug, what would you be? And not the obvious ones that you study. I'll just say that. Start here.
That's a really hard question.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe actually a dragonfly. They can see really well. They get to live for more than 1 year. And they can fly really far. Some go from North America over to Asia, actually, on wind currents.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's, I guess,
That's a road trip.
yeah.
They're very pretty too.
Mhm.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think leafcutter ants have probably got a good case being made for them. I mean, they have this sort of amazing lifespan as an insect. You know, the queens live years and years, and millions and millions of people working for you if you're a queen of a leafcutter ant colony.
All that power.
All that power, it's kind of intoxicating, I think.
Would leafcutter ants and dragonflies get along?
They don't seem to cross paths very
Ooh,
often.
tension.
Do whatever.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
It should be fine.
I have a question first
Yeah.
before I answer.
Professor Uz, your input.
So, ant queens, how glorious and all-powerful are they as compared to bee queens?
Well, that's a great question. I've been thinking about that a lot.
So have I.
You can't just hijack the interview with Professor Uz.
Sorry.
But I thought it was a good question. I give it up. What bug would you be?
I've never really thought about this before. I suppose if we could be anything. I mean, who are we to question our own existence and hope for something more?
All right.
Probably a butterfly.
That makes sense. I think my answer was butterfly too. Thank you again so much for coming on the show. Everyone give it up for Nicole and Jacob also. Everyone, that was Science Turtle with me.